What do you think of when you hear the word classic? Maybe a little traditional? Thread-like, chains, pearls, simple stones, and pendants, maybe stud earrings? All of these make for an understated and everyday chic look that fits every occasion. When I think classic, pearls are one of the first things that come to mind. But for a little twist, instead of knotting, this first piece uses wire wrap techniques to link pearls for a more delicate look. So let me show you how to get started. When you're working with pearls, you want to think about your wire gauge. So this is shaping wire. I'm using German style, and this is a really pretty color. I love all these new metallics that are coming out. It's antique brass. And what I'll do to get started is just clip a piece that's about 4 inches long, and I always go a little bit on the extras because I can trim off my extra wire if I need to. So you want to think about what size is going to work with your pearls. This is 22 gauge. And what I'll do first is just make a right angle in the wire. And then this is always how you start looping. Everybody has a slightly different technique, but you can see how I rolled it around my round nose pliers. Then I'll grab it between my chain nose pliers, and I use my fingers to bring this tail around the base of the loop. Some people use an extra pair of pliers here to give them some extra dexterity. You could do that too. Then you're going to trim off your extra. Then you slide your pearl onto the wire. Now some pearls are going to require reaming, so you would use a bead reamer that is like a file that fits inside the hole of the bead. Then once you have your bead in position, you make a 90-degree angle. Now this is an alternate technique. Rather than rolling your wrist back, you could also just bring the tail over the top. So those are two different ways to make a wrapped loop. To finish this, you would hold it between the chain nose pliers and then wrap it around. Now I could stop here, but since I have some extra wire, I could also create a more decorative effect by spiraling down the length of the bead. To secure this, what you're going to do is wrap the tail around the base of the opposite loop. And you can come in with your flush cutter. Always turn the blades of the flush cutter to the work so that the flat part is left behind and you don't have any snags or pulls with that end of the wire. Now, if you wanted to use the same technique to make a bail for a pendant, like this shell pendant, I just love these etch pendants, especially with pearls. We're going to do the same technique again, but I would just go slightly farther down on my round nose pliers so that the hole is larger. And also when you're starting out making loops, it's easier to work in larger loops because it gives you more control over the pliers. So I just string my pendant on, and then I'm going to hold the loop here at the base with the chain nose pliers. And it's the same technique, just wrapping around again. And for the necklace that I created here, what I did was use a larger bead. So I'm combining two different sizes of crystal pearls. Of course, this would work with any type of bead, but this rosary technique is particularly popular for pearls. And you make your round loop, and then bring your chain nose pliers again, and wrap it again. And this would be an easy place to start. So what I would do next is create another beaded link that I would connect to this first bail. And you could just start attaching. And if you take a look at the necklace here with the bronze colored crystal pearls and the large pendant, it's the same technique. So I created the pearl bail pendant using the larger size of pearls. And I love the way that the luminosity of the pearls works together with that shell pendant. And the colors are just really pretty. Now, one important tip is you always need to remember to loop the next bead on before you wrap it closed. But if you happen to forget, don't despair. You can just set it aside, and when you make the next link, then you wrap it into your work. And on this piece, you'll see that I did some of that decorative wire wrapping around the crystal pearls here, and I added some extra wire to both ends of the links to give it a chunkier look. And that is just going to bring your classic style right up into everyday wear.